What is up, everybody? Back again with another review video, and today's review is over the DC Multiverse, The Question. I'm super glad to finally get this character. He's just a pretty funny character with how you think about it, where he's just a detective and he's just like, that is the question. This is something that always stuck with me, and I'm so glad they finally made this figure. But something I'm not glad about is the fact that there is no regular version. Obviously, this is a singular release platinum edition, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but here we are. Eventually that'll get cleared up, and I had to pay actually for the eBay prices just to get this guy because I could not find him anywhere in my stores. Also, my stores are pretty dead near me, so that kind of is the reason, but I am glad to finally add him. So let's get into it. So with that being said, here is the platinum sticker, just to give it that premium feel. And then it is 12 plus here at the top, just like every other McFarlane figure. 22 moving parts as well, the same as other McFarlane figures. And then here on the side, you got the question from dcClassic. And then moving on to the back, you got this question art. I think it's pretty interesting. It doesn't really match his color scheme as a character, but it does make it interesting because of that reasoning and it having different colors compared to normal. And then moving on to the last side, you're going to see the question, DC Multiverse. This is pretty much the lame side of every box. And then here at the bottom, here is the barcode for you to look at, scan, and ask employees for if he's even out there anymore. Now let's get into the actual figure. When it comes to accessories, there pretty much are none. So you're just going to see the regular accessories, or if you even want to call them accessories, more just like additions. So here is the first one, which is the typical black display stand. Nothing special about it. We've seen it time and time again. And then last but not least, for the quote-unquote accessories, is the actual card. So here it is with the same art that's presented on the back of the box. And then moving on to the back, here is a long read-up for the character. Pretty interesting to see, and pause the video if you feel like reading it for yourself. Now, as I already mentioned, it's pretty much a bummer when there's no accessories, especially considering he does have an actual hand to hold something. And then this one is just a regular fist hand, so he couldn't hold anything in this hand anyways. But I feel like that's a big missed opportunity, or something that should have been provided. Find something for him to hold so he's not just the figure. You just need something. I mean, he's a detective. Just throw in like a magnifying glass or something of that nature, and it definitely would at least made the character a little bit better, and potentially even more just hand gestures, since he is a quote-unquote funny character. I mean, it would just been interesting to see. So that's already like kind of like a little bad or sour taste in my mouth when it comes to this figure and what's all included. But here is the figure. For those who may be wondering, it is basically a 100% reuse of the actual Joker, as in the Heath Ledger Joker figure, and pretty much that seems to be the reuse. The head obviously is a little different because it is the question. And then on my copy, the lines here, or line around the hat, isn't 100% straight, so that is a little bummer to see. But it's not like the end of the world for me. But yeah, just for it being a figure I paid a little bit more for on eBay, that is unfortunate to see. But it is a reuse, and I mean, it's a smart reuse. It doesn't really make sense to really have used any other things. Although the lines on the pants probably should not be there. It should be a little more clean looking, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So when we get into the actual paint scheme furthermore, as you can see, just a yellow shirt, or yellow collared shirt underneath, black tie, and the face, can't really say there's any like face sculpting or face painting. Can't even compliment it because it is just, well, empty, just like the question is, and has that little skin wrap or layer over his face. And then other than that, it is just a regular blue. Honestly, the inside here is a little more dark blue compared to the actual coat in general, so at least there's a little variation when it comes to that. And then the boots are just a regular black all around, nothing special with that at all. But then here is the back for those who may be wondering. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So he is a pretty bland character. That's why I wish there were accessories or other hands at least added to give a little more pizzazz to this character. But getting into the articulation here, let's start with the head. Going to side to side, no issue there. perfectly fine, not too loose or not too tough as well. Then it can go down and around as well, up and around. It's pretty great when it comes to the head articulation already. And then if you do want to do a 360, you can do that, but it does partially get caught on the coat here, especially the collar part there in the back. Now get into the arms. Can do a T-pose. Okay, yes, it can do a T-pose, but once again, the hot water technique may come into play. This one seemed to be a little more tough than that one, but they both were not 100% easy to do that, so that is something to consider. And when it comes to doing a 360 with the arm, there you go. And it is going to have kind of an outward motion because of the actual jacket. So it's not going to be a straight vertical 360 if you were to do so. Just wanted to warn you about that. And then there is a bicep cut, although seems, okay, there you go. Kind of had to hold it down there so it didn't move the actual arm. But as you can see, the bicep cut does its job just like it's supposed to. And then when it comes to the actual elbow here, getting into it, okay, seems like it's a little tough there as well. This character seems to be pretty tough when it comes to trying to move the articulation. Could just be my copy, but the hot water technique probably is going to be your go-to just to loosen up this figure a little bit more. As you can see, perfect elbow articulation there. And then getting into the hand furthermore, you're going to see 360, no issue there. And then when it comes to going down, it's pretty much, I think, all you're going to get when it comes to going down. And then going up, doesn't seem like it wants to do much either. Yeah, that may pretty much be it when it comes to moving the hand up and down because of the actual arm sleeve right here. So that is a little unfortunate, not much movement there at all. And then most likely there's not going to be much articulation here in torso, since the layer right here is pretty much blocking any bicep, or should I say swivel in general. Maybe not. As you can see, it can kind of bend. Can't really show it from the side view since this is a hard plastic jacket, but you can see kind of some there. I'm trying to show it the best I can. And then upper movement here seems to be actually pretty, I wouldn't say like loose to the amount you should be concerned, but it is definitely pretty loose to the point where, yeah, it's super easy to move. Don't know if it should be like that, but it is what it is there. And then bicep crunch and everything there, perfect. Then you get some movement right there. And when it comes to the splits, probably going to be a bit restricted because of the jacket. Yes, you are. It wants to push it back into place a little bit, not really extend out of the way. So pretty much when it comes to the splits, you can do it a little bit, but that's pretty much all you're going to get. And then when it comes to the actual knee, it's hard to show it when there's a hard plastic jacket trying to block it out of the way. So it looks like it can do it all the way, but the jacket definitely is going to interfere. There it is. Try to get in the light a little more. There you go. Comes to the leg, obviously you can bend it forward this much as well. And then when it comes to the foot, side side, down, then up, a little less when it comes to the tilt. Last but not least, let's get to toe articulation, and there it is. At least the toe articulation is good, which pretty much usually if it's not good, then most likely the articulation is pretty crap on the figure. Now let me get into my final thoughts on this figure. When it comes to my final thoughts on this figure, like I said, I feel like it is a huge, and I mean huge, disappointment that there's no type of accessories, no thought put into additional accessories or what to include. There's no extra hands, and that really just takes away from a pretty simplified character such as the Question, and it really could have just really elevated this figure in general. So that's a huge bummer right off the bat. when you just stare into the box and see that. That's just something that should have been included, should have been a lot more thought into thinking about that. Because other than that, pretty much the paint application all around the figure is pretty bland. There's no just like black wash, there's no detail. It's just regular plastic and just a little bit change in the colors because it is a reuse of that Heath Ledger Joker. So pretty much when you think about that, I really feel like there's just a lot to be desired when looking at this figure. And pretty much, was it worth it going to eBay? Kind of for me, yes, but for many, you may just want to sit out on this figure just because it is a pretty bland figure. There's really nothing special about it besides obviously being a character that we have not got in the DC Multiverse line, although he is pretty hard to track down or even find, or last but not least, get for a reasonable price, which is why I went to eBay. Kind of feel like there's a lot to be desired. Glad to get him. I just like, I guess the face is decent, but I mean, there's really no paint application you have to do to the face besides the hair, because other than that, it's just a little indentations for the nose and partially just try to get some of the features partially present, but we know how the question is, he has no face. So other than that, am I super glad about this character? I mean, kind of a bummer. Like I said, the accessories definitely would have carried a long way. And really, when you look at it, there's not many poses you can even do because of that reasoning. So if I were to rate this figure, probably have to go with a, I don't know, 7.7 out of 10. Yes, I like it. It's a different character, and I'm glad McFarlane has done that way, but there's just not really anything special about it. So that's going to wrap up today's review. If you did enjoy this review, please like, comment, subscribe for more future content. But until then, peace out and have a great one.